Hi everyone, you reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all of you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today to talk to you about a 4-part mini series, I guess I'll kind of call it, that I saw on the We channel that dives into the conspiracy theories of what really happened to the West Coast rapper Eazy E. His real name was Eric Lynn Wright, and at the time of his passing, he had 10 children, but he currently has 11 children because one of them was born after he had already passed. So this series really kind of focuses around one of his children. Her name is Abby, and her mother's name is Tracy Jernigan. They kind of are like digging into these conspiracy theories because Abby is like, I feel like she's still very hurt. Well, actually, I know she's very hurt. If you watch the series or you've seen the series, you can just feel it through the screen, her pain, her hurt, for not really knowing what happened to her dad. But in addition to that, kind of not being able to tap into his legacy. And I'm not talking about like in a monetary way, but just to tap into his legacy so that she can have something to hold on to, since this is, her dad. It's her dad. So it's Abby and her mom Tracy, and they enlist the help of a journalist, and her name is Jasmine, and they kind of just go around trying to find people who were around Eazy E at the time of his passing, like, who were there in the hospital, who were working closely with him, towards the last days, of his life. So they just go around and try to find out all of this information. In addition to that, Abby also actually gets the physical passing certificate from the courthouse to see, exactly what did the coroner and the doctor write on this certificate as the cause of the reason why he passed. So if we move forward, I'll say this, that the series kind of starts out introducing us to Abby. And like I said, he had 11 children. Introducing us to Abby, introducing us to her mom, Tracy, and Abby kind of explaining why she's even doing this. And the reason why, one, is kind of with a lot of people, no one wanted to believe that Eazy E actually had this condition, AIDS, okay? In addition to that, they said if they wanted to wrap their mind around the fact that he possibly did have this, they feel like, well, how did he get it? He has 11 children, 8 different baby mothers, and they said none of the moms, none of the children, have the condition. So how could he have full-blown AIDS that it took his life out in a matter of days, but yet no one else that, he has fathered children with, has this? So that's why it's such a mystery, and that's why, it's this conspiracy theory. So a couple of these conspiracies that they were digging into to try to find out it was true. One day on the Jimmy Kimmel show, Suge Knight went up there, and Suge Knight made this very I'm gonna say tasteless joke where he said to Jimmy Kimmel, because Jimmy Kimmel had on a bulletproof vest the day that Suge Knight came on his show. So Suge Knight asked him, like, why do you have on this vest? And then he said, people don't use guns anymore to try to take people out. What they do now is, he said, they take the blood of a person that has been affected with, HIV or AIDS, and then they just stick it in you. And, that's how we take you out. And he said, and then you have that slow passing like Eazy E. So when Suge Knight went on the Jimmy Kimmel show and said that whole clip went viral. And from that moment on, or maybe even before, that's when people started to speculate and say, Eazy was, someone tried to take him out. He didn't really have this condition, he didn't attract this condition through, anything that he did. Someone gave it to him on purpose, and the conspiracies just kind of kept swirling and swirling and swirling around. But I do feel that a lot of the conspiracies are out there in the non-belief, because it's just such a mystery as to what happened to him in those last days of his life. In addition to it being a mystery, as the daughter Abby and her mom and this reporter try to go around and find out what happened, what's going on, there are a lot of people that still seem to not want to talk. And then the people that did talk, it was still like, some of the stuff they were saying, it still left you like saying, okay, wait a minute, what really happened? And can we get someone who was actually physically there that really, really, really wants to talk and tell the truth? And they couldn't seem to really get down to the bottom of it. So episode 1, it kind of kicks off where Abby is, and her sister Erica, which, is a different mom than Abby's mom. And her sister Erica kind of, the sister Erica actually was the one that spearheaded going to change Eazy E's tombstone, because for whatever reason, it's, a little controversy around this. They had his date of birth as 1963, and he was actually born in 1964. So the sister Erica went ahead and got his tombstone corrected, and some of the other siblings was there at the unveiling of the corrected tombstone. And it appeared to me, it seems like that even all of Eazy E's children kind of don't speak and don't really get along. So that's one of the things, as I was watching this and I'm thinking and seeing and feeling through the screen, the heartbreak that his daughter Abby has, just trying to find out and get to know more about her father. My wish is that his 11 children, that somehow, someday, in real time, they can perhaps all get together and just tell each other what they do know and don't know about the dad, and kind of just come together as siblings. I think that piece right there too is what's, having Abby feel disconnected, and having her, go out and investigate all of this, thinking, she's going to get some closure. But I'm thinking maybe closure can start to come for her if her and her other, 10 siblings kind of get together and unite as one, which I know is going to be kind of hard, because there's a lot of tension with the wife, Tamika, right? From what I'm kind of, getting the vibe on. And I don't know how people are going to feel about the 2 sons, that Eazy E fathered with the wife, because I'm sure they lived a different lifestyle in existence than the other, I'm trying to do my math here, 9 kids, right? If he has 11, the other 9 kids. So Abby mentions kind of sort of in this series how, a lot of her siblings were, just kind of living, not good. And it's like when you have a father that had a legacy, the way Eazy E did, it's like, it's crazy to see some of your siblings just not making it, or, just destitute. And they had a father whose legacy was such the one that Eazy E had. So they go and they at least get this tombstone corrected. So that was nice to see. And when they unveiled it, the one that they had before and the one that they changed it out to, I thought it was really nice, because it actually, had some pictures of him on there. So the his daughter Erica and whoever else, they didn't really get into that much. They said Erica was kind of the one spearheading it, Erica Wright, but she did an excellent job. She did an amazing job. Like I said, it's a good series. You should check it out. So I'll get into a little bit more, which was interesting to me. They start to go around to different people. They talk to, different doctors or whatever, or like doctor representatives that were physically, worked at the hospital where Eazy E passed. So, and I back up a little bit, because when the daughter went to get his, even though she really just felt like her dad did not pass of AIDS, when she finally got the death certificate, it did say that first diagnosis is he had pneumonia, and the second diagnosis said, he passed as a result of the pneumonia, and secondary cause was AIDS. Okay, so it did have that on the death certificate. She seemed very heartbroken to see that, but at the same time, she still kind of wasn't believing it. But she said, I got the feeling like she was thinking, I do believe it. I understand it's on the death certificate, but I do think that my dad got it, from, something shady. It wasn't because he actually contracted the disease, through sexual contact or whatever. So they continue on to kind of debunk all of the things, all of the conspiracies, and they kind of debunked the one with Suge Knight and said, I really don't think he did it. They just felt like, he either did a bad joke or he knew something, that they didn't know. They did try to reach out to Suge Knight for this whole series, and he never responded to them. They also tried to reach out to the widow, okay, Eazy E's widow, and she declined to be interviewed for this series also. And so now, as they also talked about in there how they tried to contest, the will, and they was trying to find out what was his state of mind when he actually got married, to Tamika, right, pretty much on his passing bed. So that was very sketchy, and this part I really didn't like. They found a reverend that was in the room at the time of Eazy E getting married, and he actually signed the will, like he was a witness to this will. So he claimed that he was in a good state of mind, this reverend, okay, when he was getting married. And so he said he was in his right state of mind. He knew what he was doing. He also kind of contradicted himself, because he said, he didn't look that sick to me. And so, but then he said later on, after he did that, and he also signed, that he was a witness to this will, he said he walked out of the room and he ran into Eazy E's doctor. And unfortunately, Eazy E, the doctor at the time that was taking care of him, he passed, so it's not like they could interview him for this particular series. So he said he walked out, he ran into Eazy E's doctor, and Eazy E's doctor was like, well, why are you here in the hospital? And he was like, oh, I just came to see blah, 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 so and so. And he was like, oh, that's my patient. He's going to have surgery tomorrow, and he's very sick. It could go either way, so just pray for him. So one, which I agree with them. I mean, I know this man is a reverend, but still, as a doctor, you shouldn't be telling any patient's business. But I guess the doctor felt like, well, you was just in his room, so you must know him, and that's why he's telling this man business. But it, Abby, the mom, and the reporter thought it was like a little bit of shadiness. Like, how did you just happen to be some random reverend that they called here to affiliate the wedding and be a witness to these different things, and then you walk in the hallway and the doctor that's taking care of him is your doctor? So, I mean, they felt that was a little shady. I felt that it was a little shady too. And I also felt that this was shady, that this Reverend is saying that, oh, Eazy at the time was in his right mind and all was well when he was marrying his wife on his passing bed, and he made this whole new will. And the reason why I say that is because this Reverend, of course, he can't backtrack on his words now. Of course, he can't sit there and say, well, no, he wasn't in his right mind. He didn't look well. He barely did anything. He barely signed these documents, because you signed those documents also. So now how can you say you would be implicating yourself also if you sit there and say, that Eazy E wasn't in his right mind at the time? Well, why did you sign it? Like, you're a fraud too. So, I mean, the Reverend, he didn't sit well with me. I mean, you really have to watch the series and let me know what you think. But I kind of got a little bit pissy when he was talking, and Ebby, the daughter, she wasn't feeling much of what he was saying either. And he kind of was like, the Reverend knew and that they was not feeling his conversation and his explanation. And he ended up praying for Abby, and he was like, look, I can only tell you what I know, but what he did say did not sit well with me, and it didn't sit well with them. There was another person that I'm gonna say I felt was a little shady, or I just didn't kind of get it. They went and spoke to, they couldn't speak to Eazy E's doctor because, as I stated, this man already passed also. So there was the specialist that Eazy E's doctor consulted, and he was an infectious disease specialist. And just imagine, guys, I want to say this was in 1995 when Eazy E passed. So back then, the medications, the knowledge, and the information they had about AIDS and HIV is way antiquated based upon everything that they know now. So back then it was really different, the information that they had. But anyway, they found this infectious disease doctor that Eazy E's doctor had consulted with, and Jasmine, the reporter, was kind of talking to him and saying, look, we're just doing a little investigation because there's so many people that just really refuse to believe that Eazy E actually passed from AIDS. And so this doctor said, you have to watch the series. I was sitting there in shock. He said that, well, I am treating 2 females that slept with Eazy E and pretty much said they contracted the condition from him. So this was the first time that anyone has ever heard of anyone, any female, being connected to Eazy E and claiming that, they got this condition from him. So that was a big reason why there was such a conspiracy around how Eazy E passed, because they were saying that everyone in his circle, every woman he messed with, there was no one that they can find that said, I have this condition. But this doctor, I'm like, well, where's with the Hippa rules, okay? The rules about not saying anything about your patient, unless these 2 patients knew that he was doing this interview for this series and gave him permission to say, yeah, we do have it. But this doctor, I was sitting there in shock. He clearly sat there and said that he was treating 2 females that claimed they got the disease from Eazy E. So I was shocked to hear that, because not that I don't know if I was rolling with any conspiracies and I'm surrounded by his passing, but I will say this, like, as the general public, all I remember is, back in that time, one day they was like, he's in the hospital, and then it felt like 2 seconds later they was like, oh, he passed, and he passed the AIDS, and everybody was like, what? That, like, how does that happen? So, and they said his decline happened like that. That's another reason why so many people just couldn't believe, like, what happened to him, because it was like one day he was coughing like he had a regular cold or something. They said the next day he went to the hospital, and then 12 days later he's gone. And then in the midst of this, on his passing bed, he marries Tamika. She gets all control of Ruthless Records, and the children, the 11, not the 11 because 2 of them are by her, the other children get absolutely nothing. So this series was good. It was heartbreaking in terms of when you see the daughter Abby, you see the passion in her eyes. You feel the pain in her eyes and just come across out the screen. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. That the passion, that come across, through the screen with her. It's just heartfelt. I don't know what to say. I will say this though, I'll wrap it up and say this, that once again, I would definitely watch it if you haven't seen it, and it's 4 parts. They're about 46 minutes each, and I'll end it with this and say this, that if you are a female and you get with a man, and this man already has other children by other females, and you have to look at life like, if that man has 8 kids and you have none, if you get with him and you're going to marry him and y'all going to become life partners, well, guess what? You have 8 children. And then if y'all have more, you have 8 plus whatever ones y'all have together. And I just think that, I don't know this Tamika, right? They didn't give us much detail on it, but from everything that they did give us is that it was like she inherited the I'm gonna say the empire, for lack of a better word, and it was like the children were kind of cut out and didn't receive their right due. And not only not receiving their right due, they're not privy to information that may help them heal and feel closer to their dad, because also they said that no one was pretty much allowed to see him in his last days. So not only did he get married, not only did he like change and write this new will in his last days, no one was able to come and see him. Only, whatever small circle was there, which is, the widow now, the one he ended up marrying, and a few other people. Outside of that, no one else was allowed to see him in the hospital. So that's another reason why this whole thing is a huge mystery. It's not fair to the kids. I hope this Abby finds peace. And I hope she's able to settle in her soul that, what, her dad is proud of her. And, it's nice that she is looking into this. But the answers she may be looking for, she might not ever find. And I don't know them personally, but I will say this. I'm sure her dad doesn't want her to spend the rest of her life, trying to figure this out. I'm sure he wants her to, live her life. Well, listen, guys, it was a heavy series. I did enjoy it, but like I said, it still didn't answer too many questions. Listen, chat with me in the comments. Let me know how you felt about this series, if you did have an opportunity to watch it. They spoke to a lot of his artists during this thing. They also felt like one of the other conspiracies, I forgot to add this, was that the exmanager who they was having issues with, was responsible for what happened to Eazy E. They say something about the government. It was heavy. It was a lot. It was a lot. And I just really hope and pray that Abby and her mom, can find peace. And I also hope and pray, because Tamika Woods writes, because they did get married. She could answer a lot of questions that would probably soothe the souls of his children. And I think that's what she should do. I think that's what she should do. But anyway, guys, chat with me in the comments. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like. And if you did not subscribe yet, subscribe to my channel. Talk to you soon. Bye.